In this video, up ahead, the GTR pushes into a barrier because apparently we're invisible. We do some hard BTCC reenactments, and in Daily Race C, once again, I'm invisible as I get pushed into a wall. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Gran Turismo Weekly Race Guide. Yes, it returns! I apologise for last week, but I was away, and it was a duplicate week as well, so it's kind of a nice week to be away, if I'm brutally honest with you. I'm back though with the Weekly Race Guide, and in the background you can see some Nissan R34 GTRs going around Watkins Glen short circuit. What are we doing here then? Well, we're doing 6 laps with a grid start, and it has a full start check, sports hard tyres, and BOP is on, of course, but you can put a livery on and change a few of the visuals on the car, of course. Now, if you're not into this race, there are some timestamps there for you to jump to race B or race C, but if you're new to this video, of course, I do every single race. I give you a feel of the race and a lap guide as well. Let's jump into the first one. Let's have a look exactly what happened. Right then, who is in this race? Sonic starting in pole position, Shelter's in P3, Arky's there in P2. You can check out Arky's on YouTube, of course. We're going to put traction control on 1. If I can speak, I'm holding the handbrake. Better to hold the handbrake than hold the actual brake pedal here. And then I'm going to release when the lights go out, and off we go. A tiny bit of traction control engaged there. Nothing major though, so don't worry about putting traction control on too much here. Although I did have a pretty bad start there. Max power straight through there. Gaining many positions here as we head in towards turn 1. Everyone being fairly clean here into turn 1. You're going to see some absolute catastrophes into that corner, if I'm brutally honest with you. But not this time, not in this race, as we go up here for the very first time. At six laps here is quite a lot, to be honest with you, which is good, actually. It gives a good, nice distance for this race as we just fast forward a little bit here, heading towards the chicane then. So you can see there, mass power just slowing down the car a little bit, just dabbing the brakes slightly there. So I saw that and backed off a little bit more here just to avoid any issues there. Medi there, struggling through the chicane, was ghosted there for a second. Did have a think about down the inside. It wasn't going to work out for me there, so I just back out of it now, and I'm just going to settle down here as we head towards the exit. Now on the short circuit, it's a full-on 180-degree turn there, and as we get on here, max power just stays on the curb there to avoid that track limit penalty, and we're going to get very close behind them as we head towards the left-hander here. I'm just lifting off a little bit here as I don't want to rear end max power going into here, and as we go through here, the rear just oversteers a bit too much there. We're still side by side with Medi on the right here as we get a 1-second penalty, which I was a bit frustrated with, if I'm brutally honest with you, but we accelerate out of here, and we just unfortunately get pushed into the barrier. You see my face just change. I was a bit frustrated with that one. We'll have a look at that in the bloopers, of course, as Medi sends it down the inside in towards turn 1 into Blue Racer there. That pushes Blue Racer off. We got max power off in the distance as well. Surely that's a track limit penalty. It was indeed then 1-second penalty for track limits there for max power as we go into the bus stop chicane, slowing the car down nicely. At this moment, I'm just trying to stay with the pack. We'll have a look how much this penalty is impacted here in terms of time and how much time we lose. As max power's on the inside of Blue Racer then. I'm nearly on the inside there. I think Blue Racer just saw me at the last second there, but I continue with the momentum here as we head towards that penalty line. Max power dives towards the right, actually goes off the circuit, goes rallying there in the R34. You can see it made me laugh. It did make me laugh, to be honest with you, but hey, fair play. Right, lap number 3 then, same point in time here then, and we've caught up to the back of the pack again, and we just go into the back of Blue Racer a little bit there. I felt Blue Racer just broke a little bit earlier than I was expecting. It's still my fault though, just putting that out there. Max power with a horn. Yes, I hear it. I hate the horn. Honestly, if you're new to this video series, you know I hate the horn in racing. Or no, you won't know. I'm telling you now. But yes, that was my fault into Blue Racer. I brake close to 300 board, and you'll see that in the lap guide as well. Going to turn 1 there, mass power on the inside of Medi as we go into this right-hander. And as we continue on out of here, Medi just keeps turning into max power. No idea why they were trying to take max power out there. Max power goes for a bit of a brake check there on Medi, so I take that position. You know my opinion on sort of retaliating there. Obviously, I don't like it, but I understand why people do it sometimes. But we continue on with the race here as we go into the right-hander. Looking to get a run out of this corner. Slight tap between the two up ahead. Blue Racer then slowed down because of that tap. So we get on the inside up into P6. We go then as we head towards turn 1. We got Andy BP. Maybe likes the horn. I'm not too sure. Loves the BP. As we go into the right-hander then on the inside of Blue Racer. We're still side by side here, giving room on the exit, of course, here, as I need to, as there is a car there as we head up the hill. We'll explain this lap. As I've mentioned already, there is a track guide coming up for this one if you are struggling a little bit here. Mario Sonic is behind us, did have a penalty earlier on, so did take that as we continue on here then. So we've actually managed to get that position from Blue Racer as we continue on here. So I'm trying to make sure they stay leveled up here so I can literally give that gap a bit of an increase as we head in towards the bus stop chicane. Marisonic does get it done, though, as we go into this corner. Now, you do have to be careful going into here, as somebody wasn't up ahead. They've got a 1.5 second penalty, so we should overtake them at some point as we continue. Oh, Andy BP gets it wrong as well, going through that right-hander. They're not taking the penalty this time, so they just cut the chicane twice there to do that, and we're going to actually have a big run here on the Italian. Then down the inside of them we go. We should have this done before the left-hander here. Look at that. We've got a big overrun there. In fact, we get it done here. Huge amount of oversteer, though, and as we came through here, the Italian just sort of pushes me off there. I was a bit frustrated with that one. We'll have a look at that in the bloopers as well. I was just like, why? Why did you do that? You need to give me some room at least, and then if I go off by myself, that's fine. But, you know, I'm pretty sure I was making that corner based on my previous laps. Right, here we go then. Final lap here. Marisonic behind me then, and gets a big old boost there. So I assume they were in 5th gear already when I went for the change. Marisonic going round the outside. Very dangerous to try this here, but Marisonic knows I can race well, and look at that. What a move that is by Marisonic. That's a brilliant, brilliant move there by Mario, and well, just well played there. The 1.5 second penalty is going to be taken there by the Swiss driver. So we're back up into P6, and Marisonic's looking down the inside of Andy Beppe. Then in towards the left we go. There's a small bit of contact between the two then, and we're going to try and follow Marisonic through, but no, they're staying side by side here. In towards the right-hander we go. A little bit of weight transfer issues there. We're going to get ahead of Marisonic. We're going to have the run on the Italian as we head towards the line, and it's going to be a run here. Can we get this position, and can we get P4? Not quite there. We finished in P5 then. So an interesting race. This car has quite a bit of grip, to be honest with you, with the tyres they've chosen, so you can actually have a fun race. It's just the weight transfer and oversteer moments you do get in this car. They are rather large. Right, here's the lap guide then. Turn 1. You're looking for that 300 board, and you're braking just before. You can see I've just started to transition from the accelerator to the brake. You can see the ABS has just come on down at the bottom now on the slight left there. And you can see there on chase cam where it is here. It's just before the 300 as we go hard on the brakes. Now, I think 4th gear is better here. If you drop to 3rd, you get more weight transition. So I found 4th better, and there is a bit of a gear delay with the shift. I'm going to slow it down here because I think you should change to 5th here right before the curb. Okay, so you get to the top of the hill, then change to 5th, and you should be fine. Heading towards the bus stop chicane then, the 400 board on the left-hand side is your marker. Now, it's better to brake early here than to brake late. If you brake too late, you're going to have all sorts of weight transfer issues. If you brake earlier, you're going to do better and you're going to handle the car better. So brake around the 400, even earlier than this if you need to. Stay in 5th gear as you go on the brakes. As you then straighten up, then drop to 4th. Notice how stable the car was. If you drop to 4th too early, you'll have a huge amount of weight transfer. Come into here then, I just lift off, I let the car roll. You may want to dab the brake a little bit, potentially at the start of the curb on the right, but this is the marker I want you to look for now. This is the marker you're looking for to accelerate. So I've just started going on the accelerator now as that marshal box approaches the edge of the screen on the right hand side. You're seeing that right here on chase cam, and we're going to accelerate through. The car will grip, it will accelerate round, absolutely not a problem. You can see that, and as long as you stay on the curb with 2 wheels, you should be absolutely fine. Head towards the next corner then. We're looking for that 300 board on the right hand side. You can see here I've just started to lift to go onto the brake, so it's just before that is going to hit the edge of your screen. Okay, now, you may want to overlay in this car, and I was overlaying a little bit here. What I mean by overlaying is I'll be on the brakes, but I'm just going to tap the throttle a little bit, okay? And that just keeps the car straight. It forces understeer rather than oversteer. I accelerate through, make sure I stay above 90 miles an hour, and as we head towards this last corner, on the left-hand side here, you've got the tyre wall, which then goes to Armco. This is your brake marker for the final corner. Stay left a bit longer than you normally would here. Again, you're trying to stabilize the car for the corner, because if you turn too soon, you're going to get a whole load of weight shifting from the right to the left-hand side of the car. So as we come into here, you notice I still get a bit there. I'm trying to keep it 80 miles an hour. Be careful on the exit here. This car's quite narrow in terms of the way it's planted. So if you stay on the curb, you're actually going to get a track limit penalty when the curb ends, because the white line is track limits. And you can see there at 120.3. We jump to race B then, where we're reenacting the BTCC, which was this weekend at Brands Hatch, Indy. And look where we are right now. And we are in Group 4 machinery. We're doing 10 laps. It's a rolling start. And critically, you have to pit on this one. But this is the first that we've ever done, I think, on race B. You have to pit. You can see that right there. You don't have to change tyres, though. We are racing hard tyres. You can do some setup work on these cars as well. You saw suspension differential and brake balance. I did none of those for this one. And what we're going to do is jump into the race in the Renault Trophy. And let's have a look how it feels. Right, here we go then. What cars have people picked? We've got Chilton. What a name for this round then. M. Chilton in P1 in the F-Type. A couple of people in the F-Type. I nearly chose the Alpha, which is up ahead, that Marisonic has chosen. And if you are enjoying this video, as always, do give it a like and do subscribe to the channel. We are on this journey to 50k. It's ever closer now, and there's a big special plan, don't you worry. And you are going to be involved in it. Just keep an eye out. Right, through turn 1 we go then. We got Alex Rose up ahead in a GTR. We're going to look down the inside here, and it wasn't really a send there, but hey, we get it done anyway. We got Legends after there. Started towards the front there, made a mistake in towards turn 1. We'll have a look at that in the bloopers. And as we go through this left-hander, they're still struggling here, and we get a big old run on that Ferrari 458 then, as we head up towards the slight left here. But this corner is actually quite tricky in these Group 4 cars on Racing Hard Tyres, and we'll have a look at that in the lap guide, of course, which is a very quick lap guide. Everybody running wide here on cold tyres. Shelty straight into the pits there. Remember, you do have to pit on this combo because we've got 10 laps here, and I'm assuming they want to put a bit of strategy and a bit of fun into this race because it's extremely hard to overtake. The Lambo Diablo racer there gets it all sorts of wrong then as we continue on through here. Marisonic into the pit. So I'm staying out now because I've got a bit of a gap here. This is all about strategy, when to pit. The Ferrari goes into the pits there and, well, hits the wall apparently. But again, look at this big old gap. So we get to lap 5 where we catch up to I'm Very Big Boss. Now, on a previous video, there was comments saying they are quite an aggressive driver. So I was like, do you know what? I'm going to come in the pits and try and avoid them there. Slow it down nicely here. Avoid hitting the wall like we saw with that Ferrari that went into the pits. We'll have a look at that in the bloopers as well, of course. We leave the pits and Shelty there. Look at that. Playing a blinder. Comes out ahead of me. About the same distance, to be fair. And Shelty doing very well in that Scirocco. We advance to lap number 8 where the racing really starts to kick off here. Everybody's been in the pits now. Shelty down the inside of the Porsche came and gets the job done there. And critically with this race combo actually, it's such a small lap that you're going to see lots of different cars racing here. And obviously you can tune the car a little bit. So all the cars are going to be very close. All the laps are going to be very close. Every temp will matter. So the setup's going to be very critical here. I'm not using a setup in this race. I don't do that in the weekly race guides for those asking. I have got setup videos on my channel if you want to check them out, and I'll put them at the end. I did have a look down the inside of this Porsche Cayman. I felt there was a gap there, and I think that was a reasonable effort there. It wasn't dirty in the slightest, in my opinion. The gap started to close when I was already there, but the Porsche gets a good run on the exit there, so maintains that position. Robomags was off as well on that last corner, so the Porsche goes down the inside here. I'm trying to follow suit then with the Belgium driver, and we just get that done then. Up into P5 we go. So we continue in lap number 9. Max Chilton, we're going to call you that, goes into the pits then as, again, we look down the inside. They've just opened that gap up. This time I understeered a bit too much, so I had to slow the car down massively to avoid hitting the Belgium driver up ahead. And that's given Robomax here behind me an opportunity to overtake there in the same car. So I'm going to have to defend this, staying towards the right-hand side then. It's very hard to overtake here. As long as you keep the inside, you're pretty much guaranteed to keep the position. And there we go. We do indeed then as we continue on through here. We fast forward a little bit here on the final lap, looking to try and get as close as we can to the Belgium driver. I'm going to try the same move again, but have they learned that I'm trying to get on the inside of them? That is the question. There we go. We get a nice run there. Had to back out of it. Not really an overtaking corner, this one. And as we come into here, I'm looking down the inside. This time they defend it much better. Brilliant defense there from Yildiray then as we continue on through here. And they are going to defend that very nicely. That is a beautiful defense. Saw that I was trying the same move again. Went defensive. Nailed it perfectly. Well played to you in the Porsche. But the Jaguars won there. Is that a premonition of what is strong here? I'm not too sure. The Megane Trophy was very good. You can follow my Ghost, of course, which is on the leaderboard as well. But here's how to do the lap. So as you head towards turn 1, depending on your car, of course, I'm using the 2 board here as it leaves the edge of my screen. You may want to use the Marshall box if you've got a car very good on the brakes, essentially. So look in between that gap, essentially, for your brake marker. Okay, that is your markers that I would recommend you use here. Stay out wide initially to come back, then clip the curb as late as you can. That way you can accelerate all the way through there. Be careful about touching the gravel on the left-hand side. It can spear you off, and that happened a couple of times for me. Head towards Druids then. On the left-hand side, we've got the red painted barrier there, the end of the barrier. That's what I use here. You may want to use the Palmer Sports banner up at the top. Palmer Sport, a great event, by the way. Definitely check it out if you've never been. But on the left-hand side there, the red painted barrier is what I use here. Now, I dropped a second and back up to third. I kept getting a lot of power oversteer in this car, which is why I'm in third and it could accelerate nicely. You don't want power oversteer on the exit, so try and avoid that as best as you can. Head towards Graham Hill Bend then. On the right side, you've got the 1 and the green marker there. They're good markers to use. You can try and get as close as you can to the curb. Start the curb that I've marked there as well. It's very hard to do that. So I'm breaking in between these 2 markers here, and I want to make sure I don't go too far towards the right-hand side. I clip the inside, and I don't want to really hit this curb in the wrong way. So I try and make both of my right wheels hit the curb. If you hit it square on, you could force some weight transfer and some oversteer. Just be careful of that. Heading towards this left-hander then, I'm turning before the 1 and the green on the left-hand side. But what I am going to do is lift a little bit when they hit my edge of my screen. So turn before them, but lift when they hit the edge of your screen. Obviously, it depends on the car, of course. But in this car, that's what I do there. So I lift in there, I'm trying to keep some speed. If I clip the curb on the left, it will rotate the car a bit. So it's actually kind of helpful. Braking a straight line here then, so you can see the dark brown mark there on the inside of the curb. That is my brake marker. The start, that is my brake marker. I'm going to brake in a straight line towards the outside, hopefully, or I'm trying to rotate the car a little bit, but you want to brake in a straight line. There we go, trying to brake in a straight line. Trail brake then towards the corner and slow the car down nicely. I'm keeping a nice tight line here. That forced some oversteer, so if you're struggling with oversteer, try and open the corner up a bit more, like I said, and that is a 47.3. 46 is definitely possible here, and you will be seeing them towards the end of the week. Here we are with Daily Race C then, where we're at Deep Forest Raceway in reverse, and we are in Group 3 machinery once again. This is quite a common combo, of course, Deep Forest and Group 3. What exactly are we doing here? Well, 14 laps. It's a rolling start. Racing hard and medium tyres both are required. Type 7 tyre wear. We have done this combo before, I believe. And Group 3, of course, so you can change the suspension differential and brake balance because that's what they have enabled. Porsche 911 always my go-to car, really, in Group 3 on a Monday because it's one of the best cars in terms of the class. I have not used the setup in this race, but let's jump into the race and let's see what we can do on the default one. Right, here we go. What have people picked in this one then? We've got a Porsche in pole, Sonic's in an NSX, we've got Womble in a Genesis behind. You can check out Womble on YouTube as well, of course. And if you are enjoying this video, I've said it before, I'll say it again, give it a like, do subscribe to the channel, stay in touch with all the latest content as we head towards turn 1 then. Normally lots of crashes happen here then as we go into this corner, but hey, not too shabby to be honest with you as we continue on out of here. Oh, one's gone there, one has gone. We'll check what happened there in the bloopers. I assume it involves that 4GT going quite slowly here. I'll start on the racing hard tyres here because, of course, we have to use both. So when you're at the back, it's better to start on the harder compound and use some of that slipstream. Going down here, though, they turned into me, into the tunnel, and I had no idea why they did that. I was very confused indeed. I assume they didn't see me because coming into this right-hander, they give me room. So it wasn't like an intentional hit. I assume they just didn't see me or just wasn't paying attention. It is early in the morning, of course, and we are looking round the outside, and we do get that job done. Maybe they're coming back at me, though. No, they're back out of it now, so we have got that position nailed as they nearly ran me as well. They are struggling in that Ford GT as we head in towards this corner. Again, Shelty up ahead in the Beetle. Now, we are looking for a cutback here. Shelty nearly goes into Blue Racer. Blue Racer takes the avoid action. Shelty manages to avoid Blue Racer, and we take full advantage of that to get up into P10 on lap number 2, and Shelty's very close behind me there. Give me a bit of bump draft in. Was looking down the inside, does go or decide against it then. We go a bit deep here because we're braking where we brake on the mediums, and I really had a bad habit of that in this race, so make sure you don't do that. And notice how I used a lot of the inside. I went all 4 wheels on the green, and that is only one thing that happens. It's a 1 second penalty there, so we get a 1 second penalty. We are going to see how impactful that penalty is here then. So we're 2.3 seconds ahead of max power there. We take that penalty. We're 0.9 behind as Blue Thunder up ahead as well. And look at this. You basically lose 2 seconds for the 1 second penalty, to keep that in mind. And you do lose momentum on that straight, which is actually massive. So yeah, on lap 5 we do come in the pits. I noticed this tyre wear wasn't huge here, so I came in the pits in this car, put medium tyres on. I'm using +5 brake balance as well, for those wondering, and ABS is on weak. I always put my ABS setting in the description for those wondering as we continue on out of here. Then Womble catch me very quickly then in the Genesis, very close behind them as we go towards the left hand side. Womble gets close, but not quite enough then as we go into this right hander. We slow it down nicely. We're on the medium tyre now. This is where we want to accelerate away as quick as possible. I was a bit worried there that Genesis would catch me. It didn't. Lap number 8 then, so we've been trying to put some laps in here. We've got somebody coming out ahead. They were in the lead previously there, Stalin Hot Boy, as we go into the braking zone then. So they've come in from the mediums onto the hard tyres. I assume they have at least anyway there because they were in the lead. Normally the front end runners are on the softer compound tyre first and go to the harder compound. And here we have a run on them. Womble stayed with me as well then in the Genesis as we go down into this corner then, hard on the brakes. And as we go into here, I decide to try and get on the inside of them, and I just do it. They tried to defend it really nicely, but I just managed to get enough of a Porsche size gap there to put the Porsche in, and we get the position. So a pretty nice move if I do say so myself. Blue Racer up ahead with a penalty, and some of these guys up ahead are on the harder compound tyre now. Blue Racer's on the medium compound, I know that much, but all 3 ahead of him, well, they all were on the softer compound and are now on the harder compound towards the end of the races. They were towards the front of the grid then as we come into this braking zone. So I know I'm going to have the grip advantage, but I have to be careful on braking because remember, they will have to brake earlier. They won't have the same apex speed. You have to be careful. Notice how much I'm having to lift here. Blue Racer staying with me very quickly then because they're on the medium tyre as well. Up ahead, the McLaren goes a bit deep there, does Tejo Boss. I'm trying to defend now as well as understand where I can attack here as we go into this next left. Then we slow it down nicely. Going to continue on through here. And Cecil then staying ahead of me right now as we continue on towards the final corner. And I need to prepare myself for an overtaking move here. Cecil goes a bit deep then. We're on the inside of the Porsche driver. Tasia Boston with a penalty up ahead as well. So the Porsche is going to go for that cutback potentially here. But I'm in the slipstream of the McLaren then. And I don't want to overtake them here. I don't want to lose too much time. So I stay behind them here just to indicate that I'm not going for the move. I'll let you carry on and I'll just overtake you when you take that penalty. That's my plan here. Blue Racer gets past the Porsche as well behind here. As I slow the car down, I have to be cautious. They are on the harder compounded tyre, and you can see that there, they just understeered off, so I didn't even need the penalty there. Get on the inside, and off I go with my escape run then. So lap number 12, through we go here then. And as we come up here, we're going to see a yellow flag, and a Burn there has spun out and got a 1.5 second penalty, which means a barrier hit then, and that is big because they were in the fight for the lead. Hodgson then waited till the end of lap 12 to come in the pits to go on the harder compounded tyre. We just get ahead of them there as we go into this braking zone. Again, Hodgson, another person who does YouTube. You can check them out if you look for them as well on YouTube. But do that after this video, of course. Right, lap 14 then, the final lap, the final corner here. We caught up to Mario Sonic, but that penalty, unfortunately, has cost me the race victory here. Well played to Mario Sonic, but I reckon I could have had the race victory here without that penalty. Very unfortunate, but it is what it is. It was track limits, and we finished there in P2. A nice return, though, to get a P2 in this one. A nice return of weekly races to come back to, in my opinion. A pretty good week this week. You've got strategy and racing in race C. You've got strategy and racing in race B. And, of course, race A is good fun to race as well. Now, here we are in the Porsche, +5 brake balance on weak ABS, this one in particular. As we go up here then, on the right-hand side, this is our first marker, okay? It's yellow, it's got gaps in it, it's the barrier. Now, you're going to want to start turning towards the left. You can't see the apex right now, but trust me, it will come to you. So you start turning in at this point. You may want to lift a little bit as well because you want to be as far left as possible for this corner. So as I come into here, I'm lifting, trying to get as close to that curb, and the 100 board there is your brake marker here for the hairpin. Now, you can do this corner two ways. You can do it the tight way, which I'm about to show you, or the wide way. Both are as good as each other. It just depends how you enter the corner and the stability of the car. So in this situation, I'm going to do a tight one. And I have no idea why I do a tight run here. So I notice how I point towards the corner there, and then I'm going to exit on a very tight line. You will suffer more power oversteer. If I stayed more towards the left there and then came in, I can actually get a better exit and carry the speed. So it is literally swings and roundabouts there at the moment. I can't see any big differences at the moment from all the testing I've done, but we'll see how the week goes. Head towards this right-hander at the end of the straight then. At the start of your curb is a brake marker. Actually, as you go onto it rather than like at it or where I'm pointing now. So I'm going to wait till that starts going off my screen, and then I'm going to hit the brakes. There we go, as I drop to second gear. I'm going to click the curb on the inside, accelerate through the corner, and then as we come up here, we're going to turn in. Now, I want to lift a little bit here to make sure we hit the curb. And what you want to do here, and I'm going to stop it here as well on chase cam so you can see, we're straight lining at this moment in time. Two wheels will always be on the curb. We're going to be very close to the barrier, and at this moment, it keeps the car safe and sound in terms of weight transitions. As we come through here, don't go too much on the green stuff there. Make sure you've got two wheels firmly on the tarmac. And the start of the tunnel here is your brake markers. You can use the blue sign. You can use the end of the green there. They are both good markers here. You're going to brake in a straight line, okay? Straight line. Always brake in a straight line as you're braking 100%. And that's what I'm going to do right here. Brake in a straight line. I lift then as I start to turn in. So I trail brake into the corner. Now, you got arrows here, okay? The very last arrow is the beginning of your accelerating. So you can see it's there. It's just gone past the center of my screen. I've just started to accelerate. I can't see the exit yet, but it's a good marker to use here. You'll start to build up confidence when you start to realize where that arrow should be in reference to the exit. Continue through here, and just before the exit of the tunnel, you can see I've just gone on the brakes right now. This is your next brake marker. You want to turn in quite early for this corner because it's cambered as well. Remember, camber helps you massively. So you get the car all the way on the inside. You can carry a bit more speed than if you're on the outside of the corner. That's what we're going to do right now. So as we turn in here, we get a bit of oversteer as well, which helps us. You can use all of the corner on the right side. You can go over the sausages as well, especially if you adjust the suspension. A slight lift through that left-hander. And as we get to this moment here, again, I'm just going to show you the chase cam. Look how much of the track I'm using. I'm very close to the barrier. My two wheels are on the red and white curbing, so it's absolutely fine. You've got to be careful on this corner, though. You may require a slight lift in some cars because you will understeer into the barrier right there. The final brake marker on this corner, or on this circuit, should I say, is this corner, is the 50 board right here. Really good brake marker. Now, you can go quite deep into this corner and bring it back and get a good run on the exit. Remember, it's a long, long straight, this start-finish straight. It carries on for quite a while here. Now, I'm not actually going to hit the curb here at all. And what I am looking for on the exit there, as I get to the middle of my screen, the yellow barrier once again. Good accelerating marker here. So when that gets just past the center of my screen, or on it, to be honest with you, I'm going to start accelerating because I know I should make the exit of the corner. You will suffer some understeer in some cars, so just be careful. You will suffer for some oversteer in other cars. Just be very careful here. We're going to accelerate towards the line then, and that is a 125.3. 124 is definitely possible. That was without a setup though, and 124 without a setup is possible. Right, did they turn intentionally into me? We've got some bloopers now. So as we go through here, oh, they got a little bit of oversteer. So yes, they turned into me, but they were catching an oversteer moment. A bit annoying though, to be honest with you. Now, I still don't understand this. Why did they think max power was an issue here? So max power makes the corner fine here. It gives room on the exit. In fact, it gives loads of room. But you carry on that... Medi, that's just clearly, I don't know why he did that, and I can see why Max Power did react there as well. Right, here we have Ugo then. So this was the Italian. This was BP, wasn't it? So as we go through here, they just accelerate into me there, and they just push me off a little bit more. I'm pretty sure I would have made that there on the exit of the curb, but yeah, apparently not, according to them, when you push you off. Right, here we go. As we go into turn one, you can see there, Legends Alpha just gets it slightly wrong. Very easy to do at the start of a race. Cold tyres, lots of weight in the car. They just understeered off. Here's Mike then. This is how you don't enter the pit lane. So they're already getting a 3-second penalty. They hit the barrier, and they also get a 3-1 on the exits. They have 6 seconds of penalty. Blue Racer, I got told about this one because Shelty said he disappears. And there you see, Blue Racer goes off. Blue Racer returns to the circuit. Literally disappeared for Shelty. As we go to Daily Race C then, we've got Robert here, who's going to be on the inside of the Audi as we go into this left-hander. Slight tap. That forces nearly all 4 wheels on. Yes, it was. There we go. Penalty. So they're going to have dirt on their tyres as they come through here. And they get a slight tap as well from the Ford GT. And they go for a bit of a spin there, does Robert. Now, this one I'm a bit confused with. I don't think they meant it intentionally, but they just went over towards the left-hand side. It looks like they got distracted by something. So I ended up in the barriers. You didn't see this accident. However, this is the Audi R8 up ahead who touched the Porsche early on. Just touches the inside a bit too much. Bit of a weight transfer, bit of a spin there, and a 1.5-second penalty to boot. So, yeah, well played, Gran Turismo. All right, in towards the right we go. We're on Sonic now, lap number 6 as we come through here. Bit of oversteer on the racing medium tyres into the barrier. 1.5-second penalty. Well, and let's have another one there for 3 seconds for you because the barrier, well, it has feelings, okay? It has feelings. We go to lap number 7 then. TCR player here. Through the left we go. And through the right. So this is that understeer you can suffer, but you end up in the barrier. So in some FR cars, some MR cars, in fact, you are going to suffer some understeer. So it might be worth lifting if you are struggling with that corner. You go to Burn. What happened to Burn then? Was leading the race technically there. Slight tap on the left rear quarter of the car. Forced some oversteer, and that forced the crash. I say it was in net leading there because Hodgson was, of course, needing to pit still and did pit at the end of that lap. Here we have Max Power then into the braking zone. Touches the grass egg. Full oversteer moment. Managed to save it though. Well played, but Womble does steal that position then. Goes into P4 as we continue on. That's going to be it though for this video, folks. If you have enjoyed it, remember, do give it a like. Do subscribe to the channel to stay in touch with all the latest content. I appreciate all the support, and we are on that journey to 50k. Now, there are 2 videos there to check out, including a setup video if you are struggling. 2 companies help me out. You can check out the links below. A big thank you for watching as always, and I hope to see you in another video or live stream again very soon.